What's going on, everyone? We are back. And this time, it's going to be some seriously juicy stuff. Not my wheelhouse, Casey's wheelhouse. We're going into branding.
This is the fun stuff, y'all. And I think typically when you think of branding, what do y'all think of? You think of colors and logos and fonts and all of that stuff, but we're going to dive deeper into branding. We're going to go over that, but we're also going to dive deeper into branding because there's a lot of things that y'all don't think about when it comes to branding. That's just like secondhand thoughts, or you don't even realize that that's something that plays into it. Things like we're going to go over obviously the print and the online stuff, but then customer experience. How do your customers feel when they see your business or they see your logo or they go to your website? And branding is just such an important thing. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Today we're just going to do an overview. Today's the basics of branding, and then we're going to dive deeper into some of those things later on in the series.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. The Business Project Podcast.
Business can be complicated.
We break it down so regular people like us
Can understand and find success. I'm John Crespo, accountant and consultant.
I'm Casey Bryant, marketer and event planner.
If you run a business
or want to run a business,
welcome to the show. And we're back.
We're back, and we are pumped.
I just want to ask a bunch of questions because I know nothing. Well, I know a little bit about branding. I would not be able to define branding. If somebody asked me to define branding, I wouldn't be able to do that because, like, when I think of branding, I think of, I would say, do I have a logo? Do I have, like, what does my logo call attention to my business? Do I have a website? Like that kind of stuff, yeah. But really, there's a lot more that's involved in actual branding that helps in getting your awareness out there for your business and all that stuff that I know nothing about.
Yeah, I know. There's just a lot that goes into branding. I think a great just visual for all of us as we talk about the basics of branding is, so what do you think about branding in the farming industry? Like when you think about a brand in the farming industry, what do you think about?
Milk, cows, cornfields, like Del Monte.
Isn't that bananas?
Bananas, the canned vegetables.
Yeah. So branding, farmers brand their cows, right?
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, like they burn their brand into the cows so that they can recognize the cow, so that people can say, hey, this cow belongs to this rancher. And so I think that is just a big overall picture of what we are trying to accomplish when we are doing branding. We have all of these pieces, all of these cows that are a part of our ranch, and it is really important that every single cow has something recognizable on it so that it attaches that cow to that farm, to that rancher.
What a great analogy.
Yeah.
I see these, reminds me of these Westerns where they're sticking that thing in the fire, heating it up, and then psst. Yeah. Don't fraternities do that too? They brand each other in the fraternities?
Probably.
Craziness.
Probably. Yeah. So that is kind of the overall picture of what you're trying to accomplish when you're doing your branding. And so think of the cows as the different pieces in your business. So like one cow is your website. Another cow is your the print materials that you do, your brochures. Another cow is a business card. Another cow is your t-shirt that you're wearing or your hat. And so as we're putting all of these pieces together, we have to make sure that other people that are coming in can look at that piece and know immediately that that brand is your brand and that is attached to your company.
That's amazing. I like how you broke that down elementary style for me.
Yeah.
Because that, now I understand how everything has to kind of tie into each other. And the analogy with the cows, works that's okay. So everything should tie back to your business, right? And what you want your business to portray.
Exactly.
So what kind of stuff does that entail?
All kinds of things. I mean, it does include logos and colors and fonts and just, I think, and we talked about this in pretty big detail in the very first series of our podcast. We did a whole episode on branding, but we're going to dig way deeper. We'll kind of summarize a little bit of what we talked about in that episode in case you guys missed it. But we'll dig a little bit deeper into it in these next episodes. But your brand is really, it's a feeling. It's what feeling do people get when they see your logo or see a brochure or go to your website. It all has to be very cohesive, and it has to be intentional. And I think what happens with a lot of businesses is they like these certain colors, or they like this certain font, or this website is something that they think is pretty, and so they create their business branding based on what they want and what they like. And then they might not be intentional about having everything fit together. So it takes a lot of resources to build your branding. So maybe you go to somebody and you have a logo created and you love that logo, and then you're like, okay, so I need to make a brochure, and then you go over here and you have a brochure created, and then you need a website by somebody else, and so you go do a website, but you don't have any guide that you have intentionally put together. And so all of these little pieces, all of these cows on your ranch, right, have they don't have the same branding on them. And so when people go to your website, they have a different feeling than when they look at your business card, because they're all created and kind of put together and pieced together from different, resources and different people. And so what really, really helps when you work on your branding is to put together a branding guide. Do you have a branding guide for your business?
I think so.
You do? I think you do. I've seen your branding guide.
Yeah.
You have colors and fonts, and you have your logo.
I do. But what's funny, and I think for myself, and just like I guarantee the majority of businesses out there, I don't necessarily think that all of my different cows, let's just say, my website, my business cards, my logo, and all of that really look and continue the same message, like the feel. And I think what you're saying is that if you truly want to, really get the message out of your business, your brand for your business, everything kind of has to look and feel the same when they're seeing your stuff, whether it's the website, the business cards, or whatever. I think my colors are red, blue, and white, right? Like the American colors. But I look at my website and I think I have some pages that don't flow like that. So now I'm concerned.
No. Wow.
Now I'm going to go back and check it out.
That.
Yeah. I need to fix that.
Yeah. So, and it's being intentional about it, right? Because it is like we do pull all these things in when you're creating your business. Even if you've been in business for 50 years, there's still new things that are coming. You get new business cards, or you get a new website, and just having a branding guide is the most important thing that you can do, because that way, no matter who is working on your website or your brochures or flyers, you just hand them this branding guide and you say, look, these are the shapes that we use. These are the colors that we use. This is our logo. These are our fonts. And that just helps them make sure that everything looks consistent. And when you're doing this, so a branding guide is it's super easy. I know that sounds like it could be complicated.
I was just going to ask you, what is in a branding guide? Because I think I have one, but I don't know necessarily what's in it.
Super easy. It's just you can have it printed out. You can have it on your computer, but it basically lists out what your colors are. So what are the hex codes, which is if you go to any type of color wheel, online color wheel, or color generator, you'll pull up, and we'll put some links in the resources or in the show notes of this.
Give me some links. I need some links on that.
Yeah. But also, if you go to the Business Project podcast,
exactly,
we have all of these for you. We have lots of ways that you can create logos and that you can get your colors and, how do you pick fonts and all of that. So we go into it a lot deeper.
I think that's a serious course to take because, honestly, if you really want to make money, like long-term money, showing a consistent presence, like having a consistent presence online in the community or whatever it may be, like people gravitate to that. I think a business that looks all crazy, scattered, like scatterbrained, squirrely with their messaging, kind of puts people off. So I think if you want to make some money, get your brand right.
Yep. That is the number one thing you should do before you put any money in advertising, before you put a whole bunch of money in a website. You need to have your branding guide put together. And with your branding guide, as you're doing that, probably the most important key that goes into that is knowing your target market. Because you don't want to be marketing towards yourself if yourself is not your target market. If you're just making it because it looks pretty and you think that it's nice, then it might not necessarily be attractive towards your target market. So knowing your target market is the number one step to creating your branding guide.
So your marketing plan, which is in the previous episodes, is very important.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because as you're making your branding guide and you're choosing your fonts and you're choosing your colors, say 80% of your audience is going to be female, and you make these big block bulky words, and you pick green and black,
masculine.
Yeah, that's not necessarily going to be a
Green
great
Goblin
fit for your audience. Yeah. But if your audience is military and that's 80% of your business, then maybe green and black is a great choice.
That'll work. But you gotta do your research.
Yep, do your research.
Yeah, that's important.
Know your target market and create your branding guide. Pick out your fonts, pick out your logo, pick out your colors, and have it all fit in together.
What's a good example of a business that has like a consistent brand?
I think almost every business that is successful, I honestly can't think of not one successful business that has not done branding well. Because you look at, businesses like Walmart, and we'll get into how the business makes you feel in the future, but everything with Walmart is consistent. So what do you think about when you see Walmart? They're cheap, easy, convenient, everything from the commercials that they make to their to the front of their store, to the way their aisles are laid out, to the customer or to the checkout process. I mean, everything.
Blue and yellow are their colors. Yeah, and that you see that all over the place, from the store to the website to the commercials to their logo.
Blue is supposed to make you want to buy. Yeah, or trust and buy.
Get some blue blockers when you go in there so you don't buy so much.
Yeah. Don't see blue.
Save your money.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Walmart, I mean, pretty much any successful business. McDonald's, like when you think of McDonald's, and I'm just picking super
Golden
popular
arches.
ones. Yeah. Yeah. Golden arches.
Apple, Google.
Yeah.
Those are pretty all consistent. When I think of those are the ones that would come to my head.
Yeah. And you guys all have feelings when you think about these businesses, whether you think about it or not, some sort of feeling comes to mind. And most likely, most of the people around you will have that same feeling when you bring up that same company, because that's very intentional. They create that with their branding.
And I think that is a true key. So I guess you got to ask yourself when you're starting your business is, similar to some of the other stuff we spoke about, even when we spoke about the credit and the financing side, is saying, where do I see my business and what do I want my business to accomplish? Am I just fine working out of my garage and dealing with, a couple clients here and there, or do I really want to grow a business for the long term and something that could pass down to my generation?
Or sell eventually.
Or sell, exactly, because that brand, it generates a value. There's something called goodwill value when you're evaluating a company, right? And the goodwill is branding, is the branding out of it, and all the IP that a company has. So that stuff actually values your business a lot more than if you didn't have it.
Very much so. Sorry, we got a phone going off. It's tax season. John is working super hard behind the scenes because it is tax season. Somebody needs you now.
Don't pay attention to the ringing.
Yeah. So yes, branding is just such an essential part of building your business, and it adds so much value having good branding, because if we talked before in previous podcasts about when you start your business, whether you want to live and die and eat and breathe your business forever, or whether it's like, let's get this thing up and running and selling it, you never know what's going to happen in the future, and you should always be building your business like you're going to sell it. And nobody is going to buy a business that looks like a hot mess, that
True.
doesn't match, their target market, doesn't even know their target market. Nothing looks consistent or the same, because honestly, keeping it simple is really hard. It's simple. It's making it simple. Have 2 or 3 fonts, 2 or 3 colors, the same logo, and you're really simplifying it, which is really hard.
Yeah, because there can be such thing as too much. So you can have too many colors, and you can have too many different font styles, and your logo can be just crazy looking, and that will just confuse people. I think there's a mental kind of connection when someone looks at the different colors or the way something looks. There's like a mental thing there that triggers if people want to learn more or they don't. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. And with your branding too, this is such an important, you need to find somebody that's a professional that knows, the difference between good and bad, and that can help you really, this is, a one-time investment in your business, and you need to spend money on your logo. Is typically one of the first things that people see when they see you online, or when they see a brochure, or they see your sign driving by. And so you need to make sure that you're investing money into having a professional logo, making sure that the fonts and the colors all fit in together and go towards your target market. And I think we live in a world right now, which is really amazing, because it's like DIY everything, right? We have Canva where you can make your own brochures, and we have Wix and Squarespace where you can build your own websites, and all of that is really great. But if you don't have that foundation, and that, your colors and your fonts and all of those things picked out, it also makes it harder to be consistent with your branding.
Yeah, for sure. So if you go to Canva to make some marketing stuff for your business, you're trying to DIY it, but you don't have the right brand guide created ahead of time, you're going to make some stuff that just looks all crazy.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be, again, squirrely. So, yeah. Get yourself a professional that can help you with creating that right look, the branding, and just making it look the way it should look for the market that you're going after. Get yourself some help, because it is an investment. You have to think of it as, this is an investment because I'm going to get a return on this. This is going to put my business out there. It's going to attract people to me. It's going to grow my brand awareness, right? That's what they say. And that turns into revenue. It always turns into revenue.
That's the goal, right? We want to
make
bring
that
some
money.
revenue in.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I hope this was helpful for you guys. We have like 3 or 4 more episodes just specifically on branding. We're going to talk about, branding print when you're creating print materials. We'll give you some tips and tricks for that. We're going to talk about online, and we're going to talk about just overall how to attract the types of customers that you want through your branding by how you make people feel.
Yeah, I love it. I'm taking notes. I'm going to have these on replay, and I'm going to go through my stuff and make sure it's set up right. And then I'm going to reach out to the professional over here to help me make sure it's good, because I need to generate more revenue.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I hope you guys are excited too. I just love these series.
Yeah.
So should we talk about the series we're doing after this? You guys want to know? We're going to give you a sneak peek.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because we've got it all planned out. We've got like the rest of the year planned out. After this, we're going to do interviews with certain experts that provide business to business services and products. And so we're going to probably talk to another branding specialist. We're going to talk to a social media specialist. We're going to talk to somebody that specializes in credit.
Oh, excuse me. I had a mouse in my throat. Yeah.
And so we're really excited about that series.
Oh,
So
yeah.
It's going to be great.
These guys are top of their game, so they're going to have some great information to share. I'm excited for this one too. You guys just got to follow us, share it, download the videos, download the podcast, because this is some good stuff.
It is good stuff. We will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace out.